Gregor Mendel had a tremendous impact on our society and the world. He is considered to be the father of modern genetics, hence they are called Mendelian genetics. Now, he was born a poor kid on a farm. He was interested in bees and he was a gardener and he loved education. He studied philosophy, physics, etc., but it was expensive to get an education when he was a young man, so he became a monk. This allowed him to get free education while still being able to make a living. Once he was established as a monk, he began experimenting on a plot of land at the monastery in which he bred pea plants. Now, there were several variations in pea plants. There was the color of the pea and the color of the flower, and was the pea wrinkled or smooth, etc. There was like 7 traits that he studied. And he started breeding them and crossbreeding them to figure out why these different plants had different traits. He tested some 28,000 plants and showed that when true breeding different varieties were crossed to each other, tall plants fertilized by short-lived plants, etc., in the second generation, 1 in 4 pea plants had purebred recessive traits. 2 out of 4 were hybrids, and 1 out of 4 were purebred and dominant. He was able to publish his works, and basically there were 2 generalizations, the law of segregation and law of independent assortment, which later came to be known as Mendel's law of inheritance. Here is an example of a Mendelian genetics cross, and he established the rules for these. Now, there were some traits in some of these plants he experimented on that he couldn't figure out, and we now know they were things like sex-linked, etc. But he gave us the basic understanding. Now, even though he is known for his work in genetics, he was also very instrumental in developing beehives that were very successful. He studied astronomy and meteorology, and he founded the Austrian Meteorological Society. The majority of his published works were related to meteorology. In 1936, this gentleman, Ronald Fisher, was a statistician, and he was looking at Mendel's results, and he claimed that the statistical results were just too good to be true. While he didn't argue with Mendel's results, he did state that since they were so perfect, in ratios, that they had to have been cooked, and that Mendel changed and cooked and falsified his results to support his hypotheses. This caused what was called the Mendelian paradox. While they are too good to be true, but they still seem to be correct, and it accused Mendel, who could not defend himself, of fraud. This paradox was resolved later in life when 2 gentlemen, Daniel Hartle and Daniel Fairbanks, did an analysis. It was a better analysis, and they produced a book and showed that Mendel never really cooked his results. There were no actual data or reasons to assert that he had fabricated things, and that Fisher tried to diminish Mendel's legacy. Why, I'm not sure, but they reassessed Fisher's statistical analysis, disproves the notion of confirmation bias in Mendel's result. Regardless, the science of genetics was founded by Gregor Mendel, which has led to tremendous impacts on our society today.